In this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with Adam from Bearded Board Games to talk all about his great game, Fences, a tile-laying game that has a great feel of Carcassonne, but a little bit different, and younger people can get in definitely. It's a family-friendly farming game. So hang on until after Kickstarter Corner when we talk about Fences with Adam. This episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief is proudly being powered by Syther Gaming, who is bringing us Overbattle, which is an all-out 4X battle or war game that is huge. I saw the Unfiltered Gamer play it live on his live stream on Facebook a while back ago. And this great game will be coming to Kickstarter on the 19th of March, so make sure you go ahead and like his Facebook pages, and so you can follow along for the ride in the meantime. Snakes and Skulls Freeblades Fantasy Miniatures is one of the campaigns, I guess you will, proudly powering this episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Chakram Wavestalkers and Kandorian Deathmasters for the Freeblades 32mm Fantasy Skirmish game, launching to Kickstarter on the 1st of January and running for 21 days. Some of these miniatures look awesome. Well, all of them look awesome. They remind me like they came straight out of a 90s cartoon, and they're amazing.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Glad you could make it. What did you guys get for Christmas? I'm so excited. Lady Leaf got me a copy of the latest Star Realms, the card game. It's a deck builder. I love deck builders. I can't wait to, I guess in this instance, get creamed by her. I was going to say beat her, but usually I don't win the games. But I'm so excited to play that. Can't wait till we can get it to the tabletop. But go ahead and let us know in the comments of our Facebook post for this episode or our website at gamerleafgo.com what you guys got for Christmas. I'm dying to know. And let's go ahead and jump into the show. First, a little bit of Kickstarter Corner for you, a really short one, and then we'll jump into our interview with Adam.
What is this place? What is it doing here in the Leaves computer? Oh, it's Kickstarter Corner with the Leaves.
Okay, on Kickstarter Corner, this one hasn't started on Kickstarter yet, but it will be just there if you give it a couple days. It's Snakes and Skulls Freeblades Fantasy Miniatures. Did you catch our episode on Christmas? You didn't? Go back and listen. We'll go ahead and wait for you. You can pause the episode right now, jump over, check out the episode. You can go ahead and catch our last episode that was on Christmas. We'll wait for you. Thanks for listening. What did you think about Snakes and Skulls? Or especially the Freeblades world? I really came to appreciate it in talking with John. But anyways, about his game, or about the new miniatures he's going to have on Kickstarter, the Chakram Wavestalkers and the Kandorian Deathmasters for the Freeblades 32mm Fantasy Skirmish game. It looks amazing, and they're launching the Kickstarter on the 1st of January, so don't party too late on the New Year's Eve. Or either way, if you do, make sure you go ahead and in the meantime, click on that link on the top left hand of the link we'll leave in the show notes that it says notify me on launch, so it won't get lost in your celebrations. And then you can go ahead and follow along. It will be on Kickstarter for 21 days, so definitely check out Snakes and Skulls Freeblades Fantasy Miniatures. coming to a Kickstarter near you. Now for some games that are currently on the Kickstarter, we've got Natural Selection. It's a fun, educational board game that is suited for players of all ages, a game of dominance, survival, and sentience. This is coming from Sentient Games, in which you get to be a omnivore, a herbivore, or a carnivore. If you know Gamer Leaf, I would definitely want to be the carnivore. But you interact with a single deck of cards used by all players, and there's only one way to avoid extinction, and that is being the fittest for survival. So think about it this way, survival of the fittest for your tabletop. So check out Natural Selection. They'll be on Kickstarter through Monday, the 7th of January. So don't snooze and don't lose. And let's help Natural Selection become a reality. The next one is from Gabe Barrett. It's a Final Flicktier relaunch. Boldly go where no asymmetric faction has gone before in this 4X game, featuring a unique dice flicking mechanism for movement and combat. We had Gabe on the show a while back ago to talk all about it, and you can find that in update number 1 right below or above the picture of the alien Santa Claus. So that's definitely pretty cool. And there's 11 days to go. This project has reached its goal and it's still going strong. So head on over and check out the Final Flicktier before Friday the 4th of January. So coming to a close, I guess. Let's go ahead and dive into this interview with Adam to talk all about fences, shall we?
Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf with me. Tonight we have a special treat for you guys. It's actually going to be, I don't know if it'll be fully exclusive, but we can actually go ahead. I talked to the creator. We can say you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, of course, unless you've been perusing Kickstarter and saw it that way. But we have on the creator, one of the creators and masterminds behind Fences, a tile-laying game that has already funded on Kickstarter. Is that correct? Is that how you fit in line with Fences, a tile-laying game, Adam?
Yes, that's right. And yeah, we funded already. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's exciting. Thank you so much for joining us on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. That's awesome. Now, before we jump into everything that's great about your game on Kickstarter, let's rewind a little bit if we could. How did you get into playing tabletop board games, Adam?
Well, I, like a lot of people, grew up playing the good old Parker Brothers, Milton Bradley classics, Monopoly, Risk, and then I kind of grew up and played Axis and Allies for a while. And then about 7 years ago, got back into playing. My brother introduced me to Catan, and then it's pretty much been all gaming all the time since then.
Well, there you go. Do you ever go back to Risk?
Actually, yeah. I've got a 6-year-old who really wants to play, so I found another guy with his son, and we've been trying to teach the little guys how to play Risk.
Awesome. Do they make? I know they're making like little games recently. Of like My Little Scythe and Castle Panic. I just recently heard about they're making a My First Castle Panic. Any word on if they'll make a Small People Risk?
I don't know, but we did play My Little Scythe. We played that a couple weeks ago. That one's great. The Catan Junior and the Ticket to Ride, My First Journey are all really great entry-level games for kids.
Yeah, we don't really start on the entry level. We tried to get it's been a couple years now, or maybe it was just a year ago, but I really liked Sorry as a kid. We got it and we played it with the kids, and it was like, I really liked this when I was growing up. Because, yeah, games have come a long way, or at least I didn't know about what games were back then. But, yeah, for sure. Now, I don't know if your kid's going to listen to this or not, so maybe you don't want to share this online. But just in case he's not listening, this is family friendly, so if he wants to, that's fine. But just in case he isn't listening, do you care to share your Risk strategy with us? Anytime we have somebody on, we ask them if they have a strategy to Risk.
My strategy to Risk is always try to really fortify one side and just try to sweep across. The strategy I hate is the people that always go hide in Australia. The guys that, you know what I'm talking about. Those guys that go down there and that southeast corner and just kind of wait it out while everybody else fights and they try to come up at the end.
Yeah, I hear you. Do you pick a certain country?
I don't. I don't. I try to. Well, I mean, try to stay central if I can, so I don't have to fight too many fronts. But otherwise, I try to stay pretty central and expand outward as I can.
Cool. Yeah, I like to my favorites. I won't tell you one of my favorites, but I do like North America and South America as well as Africa.
Yeah, Africa's underappreciated a lot of times.
Yeah, for sure. He'll be 16 pretty soon, but my son, he'll go straight for Asia. He'll set up in Asia and he'll beat me all the time. I don't know how he does it, but he'll go straight for Asia.
This last time I played, guy just hunkered down there in Indonesia and the Philippines and New Zealand and all that, and he hung out down there while me and the other two guys duked it out up north, and then we were all too weak to do anything else. He came up and wiped us out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so no wonder you don't like that. So luckily I didn't share one of my favorite places as well with you. So hopefully you won't hold that against us, and we'll have to end the podcast right here. I hope not.
We'll keep going for a little bit.
Yeah, just for a little bit longer. I guess if we get into any more territory like Risk and you end up letting us go, we'll know why.
Yeah, exactly.
But on a completely different, I think it's completely different realm of gaming, you guys recently relaunched Fences, a tile laying game. What can you tell us about this game, Adam?
Well, Fences, it's a tile laying game, but you also have like some set collecting and area control. The tiles are about 2 by 2 square inches, and they each tile has fences drawn on it with animals in different types of fields. So you have like sheep, cows, and pigs, and you're just trying to lay the tiles down and claim fields and close them off to maximize your points by closing them off, because if they're not closed at the end of the game, you get no points. But you can maximize your points by trying to get all the same animal in one pen. That'll double your points. You get 2 points per animal. If you don't have all of one type, you just get 1 point per animal. So with Fences, what we started off with was kind of like the concept of just playing the fields of Carcassonne, but then made the fields, gave them a value themselves. And so then we kind of toyed with a little bit. We added the farmer profile cards, which kind of work they do work when you close the field, whether it's your field or not. So you could have a bonus that says you get 3 points for having a cow and 6 points for having no sheep. So I could close your field, a little 4-corner one. You get 4 points, and I could get 9 if I could hit both my bonuses. So it's also a good way to keep other scoring points on other people's. It encourages people to interact more than sometimes you get with other games.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I want to say, because I hadn't played it yet. I recently sat down and played Carcassonne recently, and yeah, it kind of reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of times with Carcassonne, you tend to get off in your own little section of the map, and you build your own castle or you build your own road, and you maybe try to sneak in on it. But with Fences, the idea was that we wanted, like if you've got a field going of all pigs, and I know you can close it, you got a good chance of closing it on your turn and doubling your points, I'll throw a sheep in there just so you don't double your points. Plus, you only get 1 point per animal, and if I can hit my bonuses, I'll be able to get 3, 6, or 9 points, depending on what animals are in the field.
Cool. And the game ends when all the tiles are out on the table, I imagine?
Yeah, once all the last tiles play. So the last couple rounds, so you always have 2 tiles in your hand, that you can rotate and figure out how you want to lay them. But you always have 2, so once everybody's got their last 2 tiles, those last 2 moves can be pretty critical on either closing one of your big fields, or as we found out when we play, we have a huge gaming group at lunch at my office, and where we play tested this game and play tested. But we discovered that more or less at the end of the game, you're trying to make somebody's farm so big they can't close it, so they get locked out of all those points they could have had.
Oh boy, interesting. So per se, me and you sat down to play Fences. What's my turn gonna look like, Adam?
So you'll have 2 tiles. Then you have you have 4 barns that you've got, so you got to kind of be careful about placing them. But you can place a tile anywhere that pretty much, as long as there's 2 different sides on the tile, it'll either be an open side or it'll have a node for a fence post in it, basically. And you place your tile node to node or open side to open side, completely adjacent to an existing tile on the board, and then you can claim an open field if there is an open field. If there's not an open field, then you can't. Once you place your tile, you score any closed fields, and then you can place a barn. So if you close your field, you get your barn back and can place it back down the same turn.
Oh, okay, and it sounds like there's quite a different bit of different ways to go ahead and score to end up winning the game.
Yeah, you try to like some games. Like I've said, we've played this game a lot. We got a coworker that is really good at trapping 2 of your barns in the same field, making it really hard to close them. So at that point, you kind of go on the defensive and try to close other people's fields to both get yourself some points, but also to limit the amount of points they're getting. It's not the best strategy if you've wound up having somehow all 3 of your 4 wound up in one field that you're never going to close. That was not a good game for me, but I still managed to come in 3rd, not 4th.
Well, there you go. That's awesome. Now, it sounds like you guys did a lot of playtesting during lunch there at work. During that playtesting, was there anything you had to scrap because it just wouldn't work for fences?
Yeah, we found out real quick that we had tiles that had no fences on it at all, so it was like an all-field piece. It had like 6 animals in it of one type. Those became pretty much impossible to close, or made a field so big that you could spend the rest of your game trying to close it, and if you did close it, it'd be 40 animals or something. So we had to scrap those pretty quick, pretty early on. It just didn't work out.
And when it comes to fences, what would you say you're most proud about, Adam?
First of all, that we got this far. We made it. We got it on Kickstarter. We got it funded. We started our company about 9 months ago. We've been kicking around a lot of different ideas, and it took us some time to get fences to where it is. And we've spent a lot of time sourcing, finding an artist, finding some manufacturers. We talked to different print companies, store owners, to make sure we had their support before we kicked off. And then, like I said, we're just happy we got it this far, and now we are funded and moving forward.
Yeah, so to going with that, this isn't the first time on Kickstarter. What all did you change between the last run and this one?
So last time we kind of went in, we were, I'll say, naive. We didn't quite have the pre-buzz build-up we thought we did. We didn't have a very good video, how-to video. We didn't have any reviews from anybody. We kind of ran off of an early prototype. So once we realized we weren't going to make it, which didn't take very long into the first Kickstarter campaign, we decided to pull it. We got some prototypes made and then sent them out to reviewers. We got some reviews in. We play tested it some more. Made sure we had some balanced builder profile powers, if you will, or bonuses. But mainly we went back, shot a new video, got prototypes with the prototypes in hands of reviewers, and worked on our pre-launch buzz.
And when did you close the last Kickstarter down, and then when did you start the pre-launch buzz, if you will?
Well, we closed the last one mid-May of this year, and then we started the pre-buzz on this one back probably around the 1st of October. Did some stuff on Facebook, contacted a couple places, got them on board. Our artist helped out. He had done a game earlier himself on Kickstarter, so he kind of helped us out. And then using the reviewers that we contacted also helped get us some good buzz, because they posted their stuff, a week or 5 days ahead of our launch, so that other people knew it was coming.
And when you sought out reviewers, how did you go about doing that?
A lot of emails, man. A lot of emails. I started kind of going through mini games on Kickstarter, seeing who they were using, and then contacting them. And then after a couple, no's and a couple yeses, and this one wanted a lot of money, this person didn't want anything. This just kind of got a handful of them together and mailed them out once I had them. But a lot of it, like I said, I did a lot of the research just by going through the other games on Kickstarter and seeing who they'd use, and then track those people down.
Yeah, awesome. It looks like Tantrum House was able to preview it, as well as maybe a couple other people. What did Tantrum House have to say about it?
Tantrum House liked it. They liked the artwork, and they like to take that aspect of it, the whole stealing points or limiting points, that sort of thing. They like the Carcassonne feel. Also, they like that it was like Carcassonne, but you had the tiles ahead of time, so there wasn't that. So you had a lot more time to think about your move rather than right when you got the tile. And then the fact that there's less options, if you will. There's just fields and only fields. So makes the gameplay a little faster. It's a little lighter, and it's a rules light but quick to table style game.
Awesome. And I don't know if I've seen this on any other campaigns. I know I've seen some places where they have local pickup or whatnot, but it looks like if anybody's in the St. Louis, Missouri area, there's a special local pickup partnership. What can you tell us about that?
So that's one of our local shops here in St. Louis. That's the one I frequent, and they said, hey, if you tell people to come here and pick it up, we'll give them a $5 coupon. And then another one in Chicago, well, not Chicago, but the west suburbs of Chicago, he said he'd do the same thing. We got a couple calls in, waiting to hear back on a couple other ones from around the area, one in Indianapolis, and a couple more up in the Chicagoland area. But that's one of the ideas that we had. We thought we would kick it out there. It's been on a couple of our updates, and really only Indianapolis and another one in Chicago is the only feedback we had, to call other local game shops to try to get them on board, to give you a $5 coupon for just picking up from there. It'll save us shipping and drive business into these shops that, you're going to come pick it up and they'll give you $5. So hopefully you'll stay and spend some money there.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's a pretty cool idea. Had you seen that before, or how did you come up with that?
I there was a campaign a couple months ago for a board game book, and the author is local here in St. Louis, and she partnered with a different shop in the St. Louis area for free pickup of her book there. And so I talked to my shop and said, hey, we should do this. And he said, obviously, this is a great idea. We'll drive business right to their shop for them. So that's the only time I've ever seen it done other than ours.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so that's an awesome thing. Now, from the backers, have you gotten much feedback, or are you able to tell where they're from until they do the pledge manager?
Well, so some of them, it's interesting you asked. I was just going through before we started here, and I would say probably about 60% of the backers have their location. The other 40%, I have no idea where they are. So hopefully, we'll find out pledge manager time, but I know we've got a lot in St. Louis and a few, like a pretty good handful in Indianapolis. I'm originally from Indiana, so it's a lot of friends and family up there. But, once I'm trying to get a partnership going with one of the game shops up there that everybody, well, Chubby Meeple's also from Central Indiana, who did a review for us. And I asked him about game shops in his area, and he actually mentioned the exact same one that 2 or 3 other people have told me. So I got to call into them, hoping that they'll come on board.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a really cool idea. Yeah, I was going to ask, because we used to be stationed when I was in the Air Force. We were kind of near the St. Louis area, and I don't recall seeing too many farms.
Were you at Scott Air Force Base?
Yes, sir.
Yep, right over there. Yeah, I know right where that is. Yeah, I'm from Indiana. There's a lot of farms out in Indiana, so there's a lot out in Missouri once you kind of get outside St. Louis and head head out south and west.
Yeah, so is that where, like, for the theme, is that where the theme came from? Just growing up in Indiana with the farms, or where did you guys come up with the theme from?
Well, so Tim, my partner, he came up with started off with this idea for the game. It actually started off as like a stained glass window game, and you got points based on the amount of corners you made in your piece. But it really was, the idea was solid, the gameplay was solid, but man, that theme was terrible. And so we rethemed it. We kicked around a couple ideas before we settled on farms, and just we thought we'd use the animals, and then we tried a couple of different little ideas before we settled on animals, fences, barns. So the theme just kind of seemed to make sense. Like I said, also kind of spawned from, like any good game of Carcassonne, at the end of the game, you could make or break the game based on the fields. So kind of took the idea of, well, what if we had to close the fields? So that's where we kind of went with that.
Okay, yeah. Well, don't tell anybody, but I don't think it was based on. Well, I get them confused, but they got Sagrado or whatever, and Azul. I've played Azul, and I really didn't care for it, and I'm not sure if I would care for Sagrado. So don't tell anybody that. But I much prefer the theme that you guys picked.
Yeah. The idea with the stained glass window is an interesting idea. Like I said, it was the same shapes that we've got now on the tiles, so we thought we'd score points based on the amount of corners. But like I said, once it got going, we realized, we looked down at it, and it was kind of an assault to your visual senses. Your eyes just started to bleed looking at the board.
Hopefully, I guess it will depend, but hopefully nobody's eyes will bleed looking at the farm board. Hopefully not.
No, I hope not. We've had a lot of good feedback on the artwork. A lot of people really like the artwork.
Yeah, it looks amazing in my opinion. Now, with all the game projects that are on Kickstarter, what makes Fences pop or stand out as one my audience should go check out and then back if they like what they see, Adam?
I think it's our wide audience base. It could be a good family-friendly game that, it's easy to teach little kids, and you can kind of, it's a good way to teach them about, how to make shapes and closing farms, and you could work on math and, adding and multiplying. But then also, like I said, we play this with a bunch of my coworkers at work, and it gets pretty cutthroat. You can really play very defensive and very offensive at the same time. Like, I could be trying to score my points, but keep your farm so big you can't close it. Or as my one coworker does, he manages to shove that stupid piece in there to put two of my farms together, and I'll never close it. Or you can tie people's together, so that they have to split the points. You both don't get full points. You get to split it. So it's fun because, like I said, there are some tiles that can be used to just blow an almost closed field wide open, and some, when you do that, then other people jump on it real quick, and all of a sudden the guy who's about to close a decent farm now has to, spend the rest of his game to try to close it, and assume that we're not going to keep messing with him. Also, now at the time, as we're recording this, there's only 3 left, but we also have a pledge level where you can back and actually be drawn in as one of the farmers in the production copy, and that's been a huge seller for us. Almost 20% of our backers have backed at that level to get drawn into the game.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So they really want to be in it, and that's for the. Let's see, is that the Homesteader?
That is the Homesteader. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like it's pretty popular. Now, if somebody's listening, hopefully they're listening now, but if somebody's listening later down on the road, after the Kickstarter closes out, will this game be available in some of the retailers or online or somewhere?
Well, it will definitely be available on our website, which is beardedboardgames.com. And we also have some preview. Well, we're starting to get our previews up for our next couple games, but also, you can always find us on Facebook, which is facebook.com/beardedboardgames. But those will be the two easiest ways to find us.
Yeah, speaking of that, what I know you're focused on the Kickstarter of Fences right now, but it's already been funded. It's already reached its funding goal, so we're just waiting for the 23 days now at the time of the recording. So they have through the 15th of January, but after that and after delivering the product and everything, what other projects are you working on, Adam, if you don't mind us asking?
Sure. We got two other games that are in the works. We got a worker placement game, kind of around a construction site where you have to gather raw materials, make products, and then sell them at the market. You can use your workers also to hire more workers or upgrade your site capabilities, or, because what game is not complete without sabotage, you can also use them to sabotage your opponents. And then we have another game. It's a deck building game, but it's a pirate themed. So it's got a big mat in front of you, oceans and islands, and then you use your cards to move around the board, move your pirate ships around the board to either collect loot or attack other boats, upgrade your boats, that kind of thing. The goal is to try to have the largest pirate fleet, and in order to do that, you have the right collection of cards that'll fit your strategy. My strategy, by the way, so far has never won that game, so I got to find a new strategy.
Oh boy! So yeah, we'll have to have you back on to tell us your strategy, so people don't end up falling, not being able to win the game either.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When we talk about that, I'll tell you exactly what not to do. As I've never won that game, I can tell you exactly how to not win it.
Oh boy, there you go. Awesome. What kind of dates do you have for those games, or are you that far in the planning process?
So the pirate theme game, we're gonna try to put it into a couple upcoming game competitions, and then the worker placement game. Right now, we're kind of just getting some. The gameplay is pretty much done. We're just trying to get some artwork together. I love worker placement games. They just take so long to set up and tear down. So I'm working with a couple box manufacturers to try to make a box that will basically house the whole game, and then you'll just have a player mat in front of you, and you'll play out of the box, so that setup and tear down will be quick. Because like I said, we play a lot of games at lunch, and so anything we can get done in under an hour is what we really like to play. And so trying to get a worker placement game done in an hour has been a challenge.
Interesting, cool. And they can go ahead and they can they can follow along on your website, you said, as well as the Facebook page.
Yeah, so we're getting some. We've got some pictures up. I think of a couple of them at their raw level they are right now. We're working, like I said, to get a box together because for the worker placement game, we're trying to really focus on the box, and then we got to get some artwork together. Working with we're trying to get through this Kickstarter, but we got the other two ready to go. I think we'll probably have another Kickstarter up probably beginning of the summer.
Okay, for which game? For the pirate game?
We'll see which one we can get. We can push across the line faster. The pirate game needs a lot of balance. We're still working out, trying to get the game balanced, but the worker placement game needs a box, and we're trying to keep that. The box, anybody who has made a game or anything like that can tell you the box is a huge proportion of the overall budget of your game is going to go into your box. So when you're making a specialty box, it's even more expensive.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, so that's pretty rough. You talked about a game competition. Will that throw anything off or slow anything down?
No, because we're looking at putting pirates in that one because of the where they want the games to be and where that game is. Pirates is a better fit than the Pirates game is better fit than the other one. So I think that one's in we got to have it in by mid-January, and it should be judged and done, I think, by April. So if it does well, we'll have that one up for sure. We'll maybe make that our next game.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I really like a good deck builder game. That's one of my favorite mechanics.
Yeah, we're happy with it. It's a kind of a twofold. So you use your deck to move other things. So you got to build a good deck that allows you to move and attack.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we don't want to keep you all night, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf with us to talk all about Fences, a tile laying game that they can go ahead and jump on and back that before the 15th of January. Are you guys going for, I didn't look and see, are you guys going for a bunch of stretch goals, I imagine, or?
Well, two of our stretch goals have already been met by accident. We did not anticipate the flooding of people to the homesteader level, so all of the cards are now unlocked. So the only stretch goals left are to upgrade the barns to hidden houses, and then we do have a 5-6 player expansion that we have ready to go as well if we reach that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you accidentally hit that stretch goal, so you have to think about that next time. That's awesome. But yeah, I really appreciate it. But like I said, we don't want to keep you all night. But anything else we should tell the audience about Fences, the board game? Fences, a tile laying game. To kind of any final parting thoughts, I guess.
Not that I can think of, but we appreciate any support we can get, and even. We've got, even if you just don't want to buy the whole game, we do have the print and play level, which will be all of our final artwork and everything in nice full color PDFs that you can print off at your house.
Awesome. And once again, because I always like to say it for some reason, you heard it here first on Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. We really appreciate it, Adam.
No problem. I appreciate your time too.
Okay, that was a great interview. I really enjoyed it. That Fences game looks like a pretty fun game. If any of those games, the interview or the Kickstarter Corners or the podcast sponsors at the first of the show, sound or look like anything that you might like to check out or bring home to your tabletop through Kickstarter, make sure you do us a favor and click on the links in the show notes and show a little love to Gamer Leaf as well as the great people that are helping power this podcast, and so we can keep bringing great games to you. Also, reminder, go ahead and comment on our show notes on the website, gamerleafgo.com, or on the Facebook post with the video, the short video clip of it, to let us know what you guys got for Christmas. I'm dying to know. Anybody have any guesses on what I got Lady Leaf? Well, you can also guess there as well. But anyways, it's our least favorite time, your least favorite time. Hopefully we'll get you a Family Fun Day Friday episode. If we don't get you one for the next 2 weeks, I apologize for that. Snack Leaf is out of school, so that makes it a little bit harder with his autism and all. So if we don't get you a Family Fun Day Friday episode until the week of the 7th, I apologize, but we will be back on track thereafter. But hopefully we'll get you one. But anyways, our least favorite time, your least favorite time for us to get on with our lives, you to get on with yours. In the meantime, like usual, I hope you'll get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into Geekfold. This is Gamer Leaf, and I'm out of here, guys.
Gamer Leaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf's luck holds up.